This is going to be a video me explaining what do you need to understand from the markets to win. First things first, super easy. Everybody should know this. The markets don't really care about who you are or how much money you make. You really think these people who make $1 million a day, 500K a day, you think that affects the market? The market is so liquid. It's an unfathomable amount of money. You will never affect the market. You are just another participant. You're not a special member. You're not a hedge fund. You're not a bank. If you get to that point, then yeah, you can consider, maybe having an impact. Even in a live account of $10 million, you could risk the entire account, open like $100 million leverage, and maybe only then you'll have a tiny bit of amount of impact. What does this tell us? That we have to follow the market. We're not fighting it. You have to follow the market. Do what it tells you. You're not going to affect it just because you went long and you got stopped out. Doesn't mean that somebody out there was stopping you out. Doesn't mean that you are the special one that got stopped out. Maybe you're just trading bad. That's probably what it is. So in order to win in the market, you need what I believe are 3 pillars. First, emotional stability. Emotional stability is the most essential thing, and this applies to everything in life. If you're emotionally sound and emotionally stable, you can focus on what the next pillar is, statistics. You have to focus on what works and what doesn't. Statistics is where your profitable strategy comes into play. You need to understand what conditions are good for your strategy, what conditions are bad for your strategy, what conditions are going to make you likely and unlikely to win. Once you have that in mind, then finally you can focus on the money. Because without those 2 pillars under forming this final figure, you're never going to win. Then you can focus on win rate and how much money and how to scale. And you can go back to my video of how you can make 100K this year trading prop firms. That's once you have these 2 other things set in stone. How do we do the first one? The first one is so simple. Emotions are the thing that makes you be who you are. At the end of the day, that's who you are. That's what you do. But that doesn't mean you can't control them. That doesn't mean you can't behave certain ways and fight them. And once you're having this tense situation and your entire body's shaking and you can't control it, you need to be able to just breathe. Just breathe. Take a second. Just breathe. You need to understand that being angry does not give you a reason to overtrade. You could be angry and trade a fantastic trade. You could be sad and trade a fantastic trade. You could be content, happy, angry, whatever it is. I could be angry at a winning day. I could be happy at a losing day. I need to be able to control those emotions. Following that, finding your statistic, find what works for you. If you are a very impatient person, then find a strategy that is in and out in a minute. Don't swing trade because you see that you might have bigger P&Ls. The bigger P&Ls come at the end once you can scale. In any strategy in the world, if it's a fucking 1-minute strategy, there's 1-minute candles that move this fucking much and can make you more money than those swing trade strategies. It's all about risk management at the end. And then if you're a more patient person and you like, squares and you like everything being in its place, and maybe find, a structure of a strategy, you can come up with your own if you want. I believe that wasting time and coming up with your own strategy when you have other ones that work, that match your personality, is better. You save yourself the entire time of having to learn and backtest and see what works and see what doesn't in that strategy. So why would you waste that time? Why not skip that step that they had to go through? Utilize that information to your advantage. And finally, once you have that profitable strategy, you need to understand the conditions. Those conditions are going to determine whether you're going to be profitable or not. Once you have those conditions set in stone, then boom, you're good to go, man. You can start scaling and you can start, seeing how it works. Make sure you have everything logged. You follow statistics. You see what days are good. You see what days are bad. Today, for example, it's FOMC day. I'm going to show you guys on the chart. There's an A+++ setup. I didn't take that shit. Why? Because I know that FOMC means people are thinking ahead. They're not thinking now. Why would we make a move when we have to wait for a federal fucking meeting? This could literally either shoot the market up or tank it. Potentially, maybe it won't do anything. But I'm not willing to take that chance. And neither are hundreds and thousands of people. Because there's one thing that a lot of people forget about the markets is that the markets exist to make people money. The markets don't exist to exist. The markets exist because people want to make money. Banks, hedge funds, individuals, they want to make money. So obviously everybody wants to make the most educated decision. Why would we place a trade when everybody in the world who affects the markets is waiting for a decision in the future. That's just stupid. You have to think like that. You have to think that there's people behind these markets with purpose. That's how I form my overall idea of if it's going to be a good day or a bad day. That's why news matters so much. If news didn't matter, then every day we'd have a perfect setup. And yes, we are scalp traders that, move very little, but there's a lot of people that scalp trade live accounts that make a lot of money. So obviously they also move the markets, and they also give the algos volume and permissions and everything. So you need to really put all of that stuff into perspective. Once you have all of that knowledge, finally, at the very end, you can look at the chart and say, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm going to do. Whether I win or lose, I can open Twitter and see other people winning or other people losing, and I'm not really going to care. You need to stop strategy hopping. You're you. Find your strategy. Why do you got to be like somebody else? You can trade their strategy. Trade it your way. I trade Lanto trade strategy. I trade ICT, inverse value gaps, whatever it is, Doji. Doesn't matter. But I trade it my way. Sure, some of the setups are going to be the same. Not all of them. Most of the setups are going to be very similar to one of those two. But thanks to that, I'm able to form my own strategy, my own conviction. I don't need them telling me what's good and bad. I know what's good and bad now. That's why I'm able to do the things I'm able to do. And sure, you might see the other videos and see like it's a difficult month. Okay, there's other external factors to that where emotionally I'm not 100% where I want to be. So it definitely affects it. And I'm also a little bit impatient, so I need to work on those things. I'm not perfect either. I mean, I'm not fucking Jeff Bezos. I don't have $1 billion to spare. So obviously I'm saying this because it's happened to me and I don't want it to happen to you. I want to be the guidance to tell you, it's like, hey, you know what? Skip these steps. These are the things you need to do. And they might seem stupid at first and you might believe that you're ready, but you're not. And you know deep down in the back of your mind, you're not really ready. So you have to keep all those things in mind. I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to diss you. That's something that you also need to understand. But that's basically those three main pillars that you really need to focus on. And I hope you made it to this part of the video because honestly, like if you can't even make it to here, it's not about me yapping or not. It's just about you understanding what actually matters. And if you don't want to do this, that's fine. Go piss off, do something else. Maybe this isn't for you and that's perfectly fine. The one final thing is you shouldn't tell anybody what you're doing because you are you and you shouldn't wait for anybody's reassurance. If you need somebody to live off of, money, whatever it is, okay, that's a different story. But you shouldn't tell anybody what you're doing. You're living your own life, man. Go live it. You go live your own life. All right. Let's get into the charts here. I'll show you guys the setup of today. I am still going to make a video about like the recap because I'm going to trade FOMC. It's a little bit of gambling, but it's for the live account. I feel like it's for the best. If I have a good setup after, because there's going to be volume post FOMC, I will likely take a setup. But anyways, so we have the chart here. Let's just go to NQ. Just to see. What am I thinking today? And this is to show you guys that not every day is perfect. I mean, God, we have a clear 4 hour. We have a 1 hour gap right here. We swept internal lows. We have an SMT that you'll see in a sec. Oops, did not mean to do that. That's our hourly gap. We have clear highs above. We're reacting off of the hourly gap. We made a push up. We literally retrace and inverse a gap within reacting of another 2-minute gap. Like, this is just beautiful. This is the same as yesterday. It's like the most beautiful trade I've ever seen. Why isn't this working? Because of sentiment. Because you don't understand what's good and what's bad for your strategy. Because why would you trade today if we know that it's going to be a big decision later? Wait. Patience. And you might say, oh, wait, hold on. There's some shorts. Yeah, there's shorts. Why? Why are you taking shorts? This is like a 50-50 gamble. Okay, cool. If you took these, fantastic. Good for you. Happy for you, man. But like, why would you take that? I hope you know that this could have gone sideways, could have gone up, could have gone down. This type of price action is basically saying, you know what? A lot of people think about it like this. They might think, oh, something bad can happen. I want to sell. I'd rather sell at a premium than sell all the way down here. So they're selling, which means that there's likely to be a bad sentiment. That doesn't guarantee it, but we can't predict that. How are you supposed to predict that? You can't predict what people say. I mean, you could use Polymarket to kind of have an idea, but it's not like anything matters that much today. It's not like we have FOMC and everything, but it's unpredictable. You're playing the odds. You're playing against odds that are just pure gambling at the end of the day. So that's what you have to avoid. That's literally how you succeed in the charts. This is going to be how do you succeed in the charts. This isn't about strategy. It's about you. Who are you and what are you doing? That's what you need to do. Understand this video, put these things into perspective: emotional behavior, statistics, and the money comes at the very end, at the very, very end. All right? Trade recap will come out later today after FOMC. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.